We have commentators laughing at this.
Washington has done that incredibly well so far. Reese missed the first one, still with it, blocked.
Commentators couldn't help themselves. The moment Angel Reese missed that layup and got blocked again, a couple of them let out a laugh before quickly pulling it back like, wait, I'm live. I can't laugh. But the truth is, much of the basketball world is no longer just watching Angel Reese. They're reacting, analyzing, and in some cases, outright chuckling at what is rapidly becoming one of the most bizarre athlete endorsement stories in recent history. As Reese continues to rack up lowlight moments that are more meme-worthy than motivational, Reebok's decision to center their basketball comeback around her is looking more and more like a massive miscalculation. Her signature shoe is set to debut in 2026, but insiders are already wondering if that launch could end up being one of the worst branding missteps since the XFL. The Washington Mystics recently dominated the Chicago Sky, and Angel Reese didn't just struggle, she got completely dismantled. Sonia Citrin lit up the court while Reese looked out of her depth, turning what should have been a triumphant homecoming into a public embarrassment. And let's be clear, this isn't about one or two bad games. Angel Reese has shot just 31.5% on layups while attempting more of them than nearly any other player in the league. That's a number so low it would be alarming in high school basketball, let alone the professional ranks. She's 6'3" and consistently missing shots most JV players would sink blindfolded. During a game against New York, Reese missed 4 straight putback attempts in just 12 seconds. 2 were blocked. The footage went viral, not because it was impressive, but because it was pure comedy. It looked more like a blooper reel than a professional basketball game. And this wasn't a one-time thing. Clips like these have become routine. The announcers covering the games, seasoned professionals who usually hype up even basic plays, are now struggling not to laugh when she takes a shot. They don't even try to spin it anymore. They're stunned, almost bewildered, by how poorly she performs near the basket. Yes, she made the All-Star team, and yes, she's had a few decent stat lines. But when you dig deeper, her actual impact on winning games is minimal. Her team's performance tells the story. The Sky are sitting at a dismal 7-21 record, and they're currently on an 8-game losing streak. Even in the 5 games they played without her while she dealt with a back injury, they somehow managed to look even worse. It's a paradox. The team can't win with her, but it's even uglier without her. Her presence is confusing because while she gets rebounds and racks up hustle stats, the basics, like scoring from under the rim, just aren't there. One particularly painful example came during a broadcast where Reese missed a shot, got blocked, and then just floundered through a sequence of failed putbacks while the commentators tried their best to keep it together. And even when she does score, it's often followed by awkward celebrations like she's dominating, when in reality, she's shooting under 45% on mostly point-blank attempts. That might seem okay on paper, until you realize that most players finish those kinds of shots at rates nearing 80%. Reese is somehow turning the easiest shot in the game into a coin toss. Coach Tyler Marsh has tried to stay upbeat and positive, even suggesting Reese could be a point forward and run the offense. But what he's really doing is trying to make the best of a situation that feels doomed from the start. Reese's struggles are more than just statistical, they're visible, viral, and getting harder and harder to justify. Every game features another moment that ends up on TikTok, clipped and remixed with clown music, echoing her now routine sequence of misses. And those viral clips aren't helping the brand Reebok has bet on. Reebok, under Shaquille O'Neal's leadership, made Angel Reese their flagship athlete, hoping to spark a basketball revival with her as the face. At first glance, it wasn't a terrible bet. She had a big following, college success, and a strong social media presence. But what looked like potential has unraveled into an ongoing performance issue that's hard to ignore. CEO Todd Krinsky once compared Reese to cultural icons like Shaq and Allen Iverson, players who changed the game and left a legacy. But those comparisons have become more of a punchline than a promise. What's becoming increasingly clear is that Reebok may not have fully understood what they were buying. Endorsements like these aren't just about who an athlete is now, they're about where they're going. And Angel Reese's trajectory seems to be leading straight to the bench, not the top of the league. Her current highlights include missed layups, blooper reels, and commentary jokes. That's not the kind of legacy that moves shoes. That's the kind of legacy that makes marketing departments rethink launch plans. Some of the most brutal indicators of Reese's impact aren't even from analysts, they're from ticket sales. When Caitlin Clark got injured and missed a scheduled game against Reese, ticket prices plummeted from $100 to $5. The draw wasn't Reese, it was her rival. That says everything about who's generating excitement and who isn't. Fans aren't paying to see Reese play. They're watching her online for entertainment value, unintended, of course. Yes, Reese had a game with 22 points and 13 rebounds. But even then, she shot poorly, missing 10 shots and relying heavily on free throws to pad her stats. It was the kind of performance where the numbers looked decent until you actually watch the game. Her plus-minus was negative. She wasn't lifting her team. She wasn't making others better. It was just another night of inefficient basketball masked by hustle plays and questionable foul calls. Reebok's bet on her is becoming a business school case study in how not to do athlete endorsements in the social media age. They hoped her cultural presence would carry the brand, but her basketball performance is undercutting that strategy. No matter how many filters you put on it, the core truth is unavoidable. She's not playing well. And when your product is performance basketball gear, your athlete needs to perform. Even attempts to pivot toward lifestyle branding might be too late. The internet has already decided what Angel Reese represents. She's not a symbol of dominance or excellence, she's a meme. A TikTok series titled Angel Repart 36 features nothing but missed layups and blocked shots. And it's going viral for all the wrong reasons. It's not inspirational, it's comedic. She's being compared to a toddler missing shots on a plastic kid's hoop, and unfortunately, the comparison isn't far off. The problem is only compounded by the fact that the Sky as a team are terrible. They aren't doing her any favors. The offense is a mess. There's no system to help her thrive. The coaching is chaotic. Even if Reese had the tools to succeed, the environment around her is almost perfectly engineered to highlight her weaknesses. It's like asking someone to win a Formula One race with a go-kart. Even more damning are the analytics. In the games Reese has missed, the Sky's offensive efficiency actually improved in some areas. They still lost, but the ball moved better, players looked more comfortable, and the system seemed less clogged. That's not a coincidence. It's the kind of data that keeps GMs up at night. Reese might be productive in some ways, but she's clearly not making the team better where it matters most. Yet somehow Reebok's still all in. The 2026 shoe launch is coming fast, and the brand is trapped in a marketing nightmare. The culture Reebok hoped to define is now mocking their star athlete. Internally, there are whispers that the company might shift the shoe from a performance model to a lifestyle release, hoping to distance it from actual on-court play. Some even suggest delaying the launch or canceling it altogether, hoping to dodge what might be a historic flop. For now, Reebok is publicly standing by Reese, but privately, you can bet the spreadsheets are being reviewed, the meetings are getting tense, and the executives who greenlit this deal are probably preparing statements in case it all blows up. Because no matter how bold your marketing is, you can't sell a performance product tied to non-performance. And that's what Reese is serving up every game. The Angel Reese saga is unlike anything we've seen in sports branding. It's the story of a young player whose name became bigger than her game, and how that disconnect is threatening to tank an entire brand strategy. She gets views, sure, but not the kind you want. Not the kind that sells shoes. And as each new game produces another round of jokes, the window for turning things around is closing fast. Reebok didn't just back the wrong horse. They backed a horse that keeps running in circles, falling over its own feet, while everyone watches and laughs. And unless something changes dramatically, unless Angel Reese somehow evolves into a real force on the court, this might go down as the most infamous endorsement deal in basketball history. The kind that teaches companies everywhere that going viral isn't the same as being valuable. That attention alone isn't worth the price when all you're doing is becoming the punchline. As it stands now, Angel Reese is the face of a brand built on performance while performing poorly. That's not sustainable. That's not smart. That's not marketing. That's madness. And Reebok, whether they admit it or not, knows it. The only question left is, will they pull the plug before the shoe ever hits the shelf? Or will they risk letting the entire world witness what could be the most awkward product launch in sportswear history? Either way, they've learned a hard lesson. Buzz doesn't mean belief. and virality doesn't equal value.